It looked cool. Hey there guys, what's up? What's going on? It's Autobot-Mike18 here, back with another movie review. Guys, how you doing? A lot of movies came out this past weekend. It is my job to get all of these big movies that came out this past weekend. Independence Day Resurgence, Bruce Data Jones, The Shallows, The Neon Demon. I want to watch all of them. I've already seen 3 or 4 of them, and I am going to just blast reviews to you guys because I'm leaving in another week, and I'm not going to be here, so I got to get these reviews up ASAP. Because I love watching movies. This one, I'll get to it. Guys, in this video, I am going to be reviewing Independence Day Resurgence. That's right, guys. The sequel to Independence Day is finally here. 20 years later. That's right. They finally made a sequel to Independence Day. 20 years later. From 1996 was the release of the original Independence Day, and I actually just finally watched that movie. I'll briefly sum up my thoughts on it after I give the premise of this movie, but if you want to watch my full thoughts on that movie, I did an old movie review for the original Independence Day. It's on my channel. Check it out. You guys will probably enjoy it. Independence Day Resurgence. 20 years later, Roland Emmerich returns to direct Independence Day Resurgence. And fun fact, I didn't even know Emmerich was coming back to direct this movie. I watched the original Independence Day. I went on IMDb. I looked at Roland Emmerich's filmography, and it said Independence Day Resurgence, director. I was like, holy crap, he actually is directing his own sequel. Let's hope this is good. Independence Day Resurgence, guys, as far as premise goes. Now, when I reviewed Independence Day, I said, what is there to say? Aliens invade the Earth. Well, I'm going to say the same thing again. What is there to say? The aliens are back, and they invade the Earth. That is the premise of Independence Day. Now, that's the most half-assed, easiest way to sum up the plot of this movie, just by saying the aliens are back and they're invading the Earth. But if you want me to go a little bit more in depth, I'll say just a hair more. Fine. Independence Day Resurgence, it's been 20 years since the first alien attack of 1996. Most of Earth has essentially moved on from it. They've even grown from their experience with the aliens. They've made a better defense system. They've improved weapons. Earth has essentially improved, and they feel that they're ready. And in case another attack like this ever happens again, and of course it's going to happen again 20 years later. Some people haven't completely moved on. The former president, who was played by Bill Pullman, the crazy scientist guy from the first one. People are still dealing with the aftermath of the first movie in their own ways. And of course, on the actual holiday itself, within the movie, the aliens are back with an even bigger mothership, and it is blowing shit up. It is killing people, and it's causing even more destruction than before, and they have an even bigger new threat on their hands, and that's Independence Day Resurgence. Now, guys, that's Resurgence. The first Independence Day, when that movie came out, as I said in my old movie review, I was just coming out of my mother's stomach. I was just a wee baby when that movie first came out. So I didn't grow up with that movie. I just watched the first Independence Day a week ago, okay? So I don't have a strong attachment to that movie like some of you may do. Some of you are probably diehard fans of that movie. Some of you probably hate it. Some of you are diehard fans who are like, that movie made my childhood, whatever. It was just the perfect action disaster B-movie, ridiculous plot, whatever. I had fun with it. And I'll even admit, after having seen Independence Day myself, it's a ridiculous, absurd movie, but I had a blast with it. It was fun. The characters were cool. I enjoyed it overall. So that's where I stand, coming from a guy who isn't a diehard Independence Day fan. So I wasn't, like, salivating over going to see Resurgence. I wanted to see if it would be okay, at least. I knew it would be nuts, but is it okay? No, not really. Guys, oh my god, I did not like Independence Day Resurgence. What? Wow. You want to know one word to describe this movie, guys? I will give it to you right here. A giant mess. That's the word. Mess with a capital M. Holy crap, guys. This movie hit the, wow, rock bottom. Almost rock bottom. This movie really, I couldn't get into it. There, I'll say right here. This movie is making me flub up on my own words. I found it immensely difficult to get invested into this movie throughout almost the entire thing. And still, hours and hours after I've seen this movie, I've thought about it more and more. I said, no, this was dumb. This was absurd. This was just over the top. This was too much going on here. And I've since just grown to dislike it even more. Guys, Independence Day Resurgence is a giant, convoluted, bloated, messy, near pile of garbage. I did not care for this movie. And I was watching the movie and I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm going to probably give it like a C-. It's not that bad. It looks cool, whatever. You know, I'm not going to call it garbage. It's not. I've since thought about it. It's one of those movies you think about it, you keep thinking about it, and you're just like, nope, I didn't like that. I didn't like that character. That character could have been cut out. 5 different characters in this movie could have been cut out. Those are my problems with Independence Day. I'll get into them more. I'll say this much. The only things I am going to give this movie credit for are these like 2 or 3 things. Number 1, the CGI looks good. Of course, I expected good CGI going into this movie because if I got bad CGI, forget about it. This movie would be nothing to me. Now, the first movie used the majority of practical effects. This movie, it's nearly all CGI, and I think for the most part, it looks really good. It looks convincing. The ships and everything, the aliens look cool. Is it hard? Is there a lot of it? Yeah, there's a lot of it. Is it hard to, like, to point things out with it? Yes, it's definitely hard. I'll get into that later. But it looks cool. It's visually fun to look at. Visually, in terms of effects. That's it. The other thing that I definitely want to give this movie credit for is the fact that they actually took my note from Independence Day. Not that they listened to me, but they took my note because one of my biggest problems with the first Independence Day was that I did not get to see enough of the aliens. I finally got to see more of the aliens for this time. It definitely added more to the threat against the humans. I felt that was the big problem with the first movie. And that movie would have been almost perfect for me if the aliens were there. I know it was ridiculous, but you get what I mean. I had fun with that movie. I did not have fun with this movie. That's ultimately where my problems with this movie lie in. I wasn't entertained. I was sitting there scratching my head saying, in the theater, I was sitting there scratching my head saying to myself, why is this character in this movie? What is this character's function again? Oh yeah, that's right. Wait, are you kidding me? This is the absurd thing they have to do in this movie now? This is the aliens' plan? This is why they're here? This is what they have to do to stop the alien? What? Are you kidding me? I absolutely was saying that throughout the entire thing. I'm not even joking with you guys. I think the biggest problem with this movie is the script. Not only because there are way too many characters in this movie, but the humor, too. They tried to throw this just terrible, stale humor every 5 minutes, and it just didn't work for me at all. I did not laugh one time in this movie. And I'm just sitting there saying to myself, why are you trying so hard to make this movie funny? I just want to see shit blow up. I just want to see some cool alien gunfight, battle, death sequences, a cool spaceship chase scene like the first movie did. I was just waiting for a fun sequence where I could say, yeah, I actually just had fun with that sequence in the movie. It was cool, it entertained me, it was fun to watch, but no, I didn't get that throughout this entire movie. There's this whole sequence that should have been awesome where the new characters try to board the mothership and take it down, and it's just completely, they cut away whenever I want something cool to happen, or they end the scene quickly whenever I wanted them to have a giant gunfight with the aliens and to see even more of the aliens. They just cut to them leaving, and I'm just like, where are you going? Give me my money's worth of action. That's just what's wrong with Independence Day. I hate the ending of this movie so much because it shouts nothing more at your face than, look, we're making a sequel. Do you want another one? No, I don't want any more. It's absurd. I don't care if they're gonna take the setting of this movie and just bring it somewhere else. I don't care. I don't want any more. No more Independence Day. I don't want it. They blew their opportunity. They had a chance to make a good sequel. They did not make a good sequel, and that's why I just didn't like the movie. I have more reasons why I didn't like it, and I will get into them right now. My biggest reason, the biggest problem I had with this movie, and I hope you guys can agree with me. Let me know down below, what was your biggest problem with this movie? Biggest problem with this movie for me were the characters. There are 5 or 6 characters too many in this entire movie. I would have cut either all of them out or given them, just made them like background extras or something. They did not need to be in this movie. Please tell me what they did with Judd Hirsch's character in this movie. I love the relationship he had with Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day. That was one of the best components of that movie for me. That's why I loved Goldblum so much in that movie, because of that duo that movie created. They not only separate them in this movie, but they give Judd Hirsch his whole other side plot where he's just with these kids. They introduce a bunch of kid characters in this movie, and I'm like, why? There's already so many other characters. What are you doing? Don't show me this. Cut this out of the movie. Yeah, I'm not even joking with you. Apart from the fact that Will Smith is not in this movie and they couldn't reach his demands for $50,000 or $50 million or whatever it was, I don't know. They give us his son, who is totally not as fascinating as Will Smith was in the first movie. Not only is he hardly in this movie, but when he does come into this movie, yeah, he looks cool. He's a good-looking actor who's going to get every girl in the theater like, oh, that guy looks hot. Yeah, but what does he contribute to this movie? Nothing. There's this whole shoehorned, forced plot point that he had a fight with Liam Hemsworth in the movie, but whatever, they focus on that. Sure, why not? Aliens are attacking. Will Smith, I miss you. Why is Vivica A. Fox in this movie? Why is she no longer a stripper? Why is she working in a hospital for sick people? It's never explained. She could have been cut out of the movie. Bill Pullman is... I'll give you a perfect example of why there's so many characters in this movie. The first scene in this movie, Bill Pullman, it's his scene, okay? As President Whitmore, ex-President Whitmore. He's no longer the president anymore. Obviously, 20 years later, he's not going to be the president. And 25 minutes later, he comes back into the movie, finally. Because they're introducing and setting up so many other characters and so many dumb side characters. I was just like, yeah, bring him back. They have to give us Jeff Goldblum a new love interest character. They have to give us this African warlord character who they could have made an awesome badass breakout character in this movie, but they give him hardly no screen time, so he's completely wasted in this movie. Who else? I'm probably forgetting people. Oh, Liam Hemsworth plays a pilot in this movie. They give him a partner, and the partner has a love interest in the movie. That could have been entirely removed and just created more unnecessary bad humor. Why is that there? I don't know. Everything with the scientist from the first movie could have been cut out. He had no proper point other than to provide exposition for this movie. Oh my goodness, guys, everything's just a giant mess. The only character I even remotely cared about, and he is even not in the movie that much, and he's given top billing in this movie, Liam Hemsworth's character. They tried to give him some depth, some backstory, and I bought into that backstory, but he's hardly in the movie, and I hardly give a crap about him and his relationship with Maika Monroe, who I think is a great actress, but she's completely wasted here. Jeff Goldblum, completely wasted. He is not given the proper screen time he needs for this movie because they give us so many other unnecessary side characters and side romances that are building, and it's just so unnecessary and so forced and just so ridiculous. And worst of all, the comic relief character in this movie, I kid you guys not, the entire movie, I'm like, where have I seen this actor before? Where have I seen this actor before? His name is Floyd. He's just this scared, the cliched scared guy who has to fight with the military in the end of the movie, and he's just scared. And yeah, that's his whole arc for the entire movie. The rest of the movie, when he's scared, he's throwing jokes left and right, which none of them landed, by the way. And I'm sitting there like, where have I seen this guy before? And it hit me. He was the same character from White House Down, Roland Emmerich's movie that came out before this movie, who was the comic relief from that movie. He was the tour guide from White House Down, and now in this movie, he's the scared scientist guy with glasses who throws jokes at us every 20 minutes and just doesn't work. One of the worst things about this movie going forward. Holy crap, guys. Shit, this movie's bad. As you can tell, I didn't care for it. They completely ruined it. They butchered this movie. It has the same exact structure as the first movie. Nothing is new or different other than the CGI and the effects, and they've just given us even more characters than the first movie. And the first movie had even one side plot too many. And this movie has about 5 or 6 side plots too many. Independence Day Resurgence is a giant mess of a movie. It's so bloated. It's so just overstuffed with characters and side plots and forced humor that they are trying to shove down your throat, all to make money, and that is the #1 problem with this movie. The only way I see why this movie was made is because they said, you know what, the first one made over $800 million, let's make another couple of $100 million with Independence Day Resurgence. It is a 100% cash grab. Please, guys, avoid this movie. Just watch the first one. There you have it. I haven't done ranting like this in a while. Independence Day Resurgence is terrible. I was going to give this movie a 7 out of 10, a C-, but then I started thinking about it. Nope. Independence Day Resurgence gets a 6.5 out of 10 or grade of a D from me. I do not recommend this movie. It is so far one of the worst movies of the year. Wow, I can't believe I didn't have fun in an entire movie that should have just been nothing but dumb, mindless action, explosion, disaster, fun, and I didn't get any of that, and that's why Independence Day Resurgence did not work. Guys, what did you think of Independence Day Resurgence? Wow, I gotta calm down. Wow, I didn't like it. I hated it. Guys, leave me your thoughts down below on Independence Day Resurgence. What did you like it? Did any of you actually like it? Let me know down below. It's this year's Terminator Genesis for sure, and it came out right around the same time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.